We are now on episode 4 of Dukes on the Pod. Um, got a great response for the first 3 episodes, and I think everybody's going to like and appreciate this next one. But before we get into that, let me bring in our host, our second host, Chris Lopez. Chris, how you doing?
JD, what's going on? Episode 4, ready to go at this thing.
Episode 4. I never thought we'd get past episode 2. So
Yeah, the response
so
has been awesome. So happy to
pretty
keep it
good.
going.
Absolutely. So how's your week been, man? I think we had a really good sports week finally. But
We did.
overall, how's it been?
Yeah, so two things definitely. The Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, came out
Yep.
last Sunday,
Yep.
and then the NFL draft, I think Thursday, and then last night as well. I know we're both Eagles fans, so
Yeah.
I guess our second round pick kind of stunned us there a little bit. I was jaw dropped.
Yeah. So no one's gonna believe me. So I was doing some desk work. Well,
Uh-huh.
obviously we're all doing desk work.
Mhm.
Um, and I had a little bit of a 25-minute break, 30-minute break, and I was going through some draft stuff, and I was like, watch the Eagles take Jalen Hurts. And it was just completely random. I was like,
Right.
they're gonna mess this ththing up and get
Right.
Jalen Hurts. And then so I'm sitting on the couch waiting for the pick, and then all I see is, you know, pick 53, Eagles take
Mhm.
quarterback Jalen Hurts. I was like, what the heck is happening?
Right. My
So
thing is why bring in more drama? Why bring in drama? The
yeah, yeah.
the added controversy. Because anytime
I mean,
Carson struggles now, you know what you're gonna hear.
yeah. I mean, I'm trying to like piece together, like, oh yeah, everybody keeps talking about the Breeze thing with Taysom Hill.
Mhm.
But I'm like, it wasn't a need. I
Right.
mean, so
A second round
I don't
pick
know.
is a big investment for a gadget
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, and that guy for Baylor was there. So,
Right.
you know, but the other part, the Jordan documentary, that thing is legit, man. I'm
Did you
pumped
enjoy it?
about it. Yeah, hey, don't forget
Yeah.
the last episode I said that was the greatest team ever assembled. So, well, not that
Right.
exact team, but the
Right.
'96 team. So,
Right. Right.
it's been good stuff. Good stuff.
No, it's good.
So,
It's kind of like a reality show because I wasn't a lot. I was 3 4 years old during
right,
the time of this filming, so it's kind of
right.
interesting to see how the season plays out.
We'll see what's going on. 2 episodes tomorrow night. So I'm
That's
pumped.
right. All right, so I think so. Now we're on your third trivia question.
Yes, 1-1.
Yep. So we're 1-1. So let's see if we can break this tie. So this we can do it two different ways. If you know the answer, you can just say it. If you don't, off the top of your head, we'll give you options because this is a
Okay.
little bit of a tough one. All right. So Kendra Stipes led the Dukes women's soccer in goals last season.
Right.
Do you know the total amount of goals she had on the year? If you don't
18.
know it off the Okay. Yeah,
18.
that's the answer.
Come on,
18.
man. She's a
That's the
beast.
answer. That's the answer. 18.
She
You
is a
got it. So you take the lead there. You're up 2-1 on me.
terrific. All right. So, folks, our next guest is you know, uh, for lack of a better word, he's a hero, man. He's in my opinion, he's done it all. So, this next gentleman, he's a Millville High School graduate. He's played in all the Millville rec leagues. He a few years later we became teammates at the age of 13, and this kid's excuse me, he's not a kid anymore. This gentleman um, really is one of the best teammates, one of the funniest guys that I've been around. After high school, he joined the Army. He was an Army Ranger. Um, we'll get into his tours of duty once we bring him on. Following his time in the Army, he came back, attended Cumberland County College, was a baseball player for the Dukes for a couple years. Um, earned his nursing degree, and he has taken steps since then to the point where now he is currently on the front lines, you know, um, assisting and helping folks not only in our area in the greater Philadelphia area, but most recently he is assisting folks in the North Jersey area as well at the Meadowlands complex. Straight off an 11 straight day shift. I don't know if I said that correctly, but ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to bring on Eric Martinez. Eric, how are you?
Oh, good. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all.
11 straight days, man. How you feeling? Running on fumes, or are you just
Yeah,
running
has the
altogether?
body holding up?
I mean, after the fourth day, it's pretty much you're on cruise control. Living off caffeine and Quest bars, so it's the status quo for me pretty much. But it's not bad at all. I'd say I've been doing it for a while, so I mean, I wouldn't be working as much consistently, but it's just it's the I wouldn't say the thrill, but it's the camaraderie working with everybody that I like. So it keeps you going.
Cool. Good stuff, man. And obviously, you see it all over the place. Before we get into the questions and everything, everybody at Cumberland truly appreciates everything that you've been doing. You're definitely making us proud. And when we were trying to figure out who our next guest was, your name came to mind right away, and this was a no-brainer. So thank you for coming on.
No problem. I thank you for having me. A little disappointed I wasn't the first guest, but I mean, we can get into that off here.
Well, our first ever guests were a pair of softball players, Gianna DeMarco and Alicia Serrano.
Right.
They swear they're going to be the best guests as for as long as this goes.
Mm-hmm.
I got a good feeling. I think this is going to rival it. So,
Right.
And if not, they hate the frontline workers. So, so all right. So it's weird calling you Eric. I'm going to call you by your nickname this whole time. All right. We're going to put about 10% professionalism to the side here. So your nickname is Cheese, so I'll call you Cheese from here on out.
What's the origin of that? Do we?
Yeah.
Cheese, you want to get into that?
Yeah. Quick story. All right. Like 8th grade, we used to sell hot cheese, like melted cheese with the pretzels in the lunch line. A friend of mine, somebody spilled cheese on his sweatpants. They went around the whole cafeteria looking around who did it. The kid came up to me and he asked me if I spilled the cheese on his pants. I was like, no, I don't even eat melted cheese.
Uh-huh.
He said you look like you would spill cheese. I'm gonna call you Cheese Mo. Everybody up to 10th grade called me Cheese Mo, and then by then everybody dropped it to cheese. Nothing crazy, but I feel weird when people call me Eric. So
that's funny.
Terrific. All right, Cheese. Take us through your time in the Army, then Cumberland, and then ultimately where you are now. I mean, it's a pretty special route in my opinion. I mean, like you said, I feel like you've done everything in terms of service for us. Kind of take us through that and how it all went down.
I mean, obviously, playing baseball with you guys. Growing up, the goal was always to play, Division I baseball. I mean, I think that was always the goal. Unfortunately, through some poor decisions, I became ineligible to play my senior year, so I kind of just looked for the next step, kind of next thing that was going to challenge me. Went to a recruiter. He pretty much had me. He showed me I could jump out of airplanes, so I was like, sign me up. But I was 17 at the time, so I enlisted in November of my senior year, but my mom had to sign for me, but she knew I was going to go anyway. So I would have turned 18 in September after the summer. So I just waited, obviously graduated and then left in August. But, it was a shell shock, definitely culture change, being away from home. I'm 32 now, but the 17-year-old me, I can sit back and laugh. I was crying my first couple of days away from home. So, it's just, it's just different, you really know what you get yourself into you're down there. And then, after the first week of reception down there, you hit the ground running. I was a fat body at this time. So, it was a lot. I was getting picked on a lot. I was isolated to the fat body line in the cafeterias. Right. It was, it's just a complete culture shock, establishing a regimen, definitely for the better, definitely for the betterment, things that I've taken from there and I still apply to this day. Obviously, not as strict. Life's not as strict in civilian sector of life, but the disciplines. The commitment to excellence. And like I said, I still have a far ways to go. But I went down there in August down to Fort Benning, Georgia. Did basic training in infantry school for the 13 weeks. Went to airborne school and went to a program for RIP, Ranger Indoctrination Program. It was like 330 of us went for like 4 weeks. You had to make it through the 4 weeks to get sent to a Ranger battalion. It was like 27 of us graduated. So a lot of guys, quit, so they kind of push you to the limit. I mean, every day I pretty much told myself I'll quit tomorrow, not today. Pretty much that's the only way I got through. I got sent to, the illustrious 1st Ranger Battalion down in Savannah, Georgia. July 7th, 2006, first time, touchdown overseas. And that was, like I said, that was, everything kind of like built up for that moment. And even then you still never know what to expect. So, so it was, that was its own chapter in my life. And then came back, went to Ranger School. That was another, 60 days of I wouldn't say nonsense, but getting broken down again. Like I said, you really learn about yourself at the end of the day. Your body's really a machine. We can kind of always talk ourselves in and out of something mentally. And like I said, it's not being the biggest, the strongest, the fastest. Because I said, man, there's guys, 5'3" that were, making it. And I looked at them, I said, this guy's not going to make 120 pounds. And it's, one of the toughest, sons of guns that I ever come across. But, definitely was, I embraced everything. I look back now, I can sit here and I'm proud of some of the things, proud of that chapter and those things that I've done in my life. And after that, I landed up at, Cumberland County College, home of the Dukes. Obviously, I played, I had that itch to still play baseball. Definitely wasn't the, the player who I thought I was at that point in my career, but it was, but it was, it was a great, it was a great experience. I still got to play, collegiate baseball. Obviously not, to the the level, we didn't, accomplish the goals that we set out, that we wanted to do. But we did a lot of great fundraising for you guys to play in that.
Here it goes. Here it goes.
A lot of good fundraising. So there's some sweat and tears put into that field. So, but you guys taken, you, Coach Gorman, and the rest of the staff there, you guys took in that program. You guys just elevated to a level and a level and a level. And like I said, I couldn't be any more proud. It used to be a laughing stock to say you went to, Cumberland County College to play baseball. But, I think you guys changed the whole, the enigma, the whole identity of that program. I think you guys, like I said, there's obviously, you're not going to be able, get the top tier talent, but the talent that you guys can assemble and the way you guys put that thing together. National champs, trips to the World Series. I don't think, for, Gloucester County College for being, this illustrious program down in the South Jersey region, kind of always being that go-to destination. I think you guys just, you guys, the way you compete. You guys literally took a program that was from, the basement and, you guys made it, nationally known, recognized, JUCO program. Like I said, I couldn't be more proud, especially you. Like I said, knowing you, you being in the mix. Like I said, I know all the sacrifices that you've made, I'm sure obviously more your wife made, but I just know how dedicated to the game you are. So it's I couldn't be more proud of you. Like I said, you always be my boy, and like I said, but you're a boss now. So sitting in the big, sitting in the
Jeez, I appreciate the well. I was just about to break you down, bud. You were hitting. I pulled out some of the scorebooks. I think I texted it to you. I think you hit 4th on a couple of those games. Not a ton of RBIs, but you were getting on base though. That's all that matters in my opinion.
It was the analytics. So. We took it analytics. We were ahead of the curve. We were the money ball at JUCO.
Cheese, what would you say you miss most about being a student athlete? Is it playing baseball? Is it being around your teammates? Is it being around campus? What would you say is the thing you miss most about being a student athlete?
Competition within, against teammates, but the competition against opponents. Like I said, I love athletics. I love the art of competing. Even though, the guys are teammates, they're your friends, but I think, competition, it's either going to make it's gonna make you better. It's gonna it's gonna show your character. So like I said, I just love competition. I said everybody wants to win. Nobody steps onto a field to just play the game. I don't think I was I wasn't around too many of those type of guys.
Right.
But I love the art of competition. I think it's it's great. Like I said, you being from you competing from a young age to to where how you went to college. I just think the competition. I just love it.
Right. Absolutely.
I hear you, man. I mean, Chris, you could probably experience this as well now as an admin. Um, you know, nothing can match that, like how those juices get flowing when you hear the national anthem and you do that quick final huddle and you just feel like everything that, I mean, you can't match it. So no, I
We
share that
talked.
with you.
We talked about the Last Dance. I kind of got that feeling when they played their
Oh, the song.
their song and Jordan's the
Yeah, the
last one
intro.
waiting to come out of the tunnel. I was like, all right, yep, that's what I missed right there.
Tough, tough, man. All right, so she's not now you are where you are. I mean, you're facing basically a global issue now, and I don't want to say the world is relying on you, but um, you know everybody's just basically relying on you. I can't even think the right word right now, but how is your previous experience? Going through the Ranger program, going through the boot camp, and then, like you said, just being an athlete, basically your whole life. How has that prepared you for right now?
Um, I don't. I don't know. Kind of the easiest way to explain. I don't know. It's a challenge. I think I've always been open to challenges. You know, I think the mental makeup. I think I've always had good mental makeup. But I think some of this, obviously, some of the stuff that my mom, most importantly, the things that my mom instilled in me. She wasn't up for too much nonsense. So, and even just the military kind of fortified that that concrete foundation. So it's like I said, I'm just always up for a challenge. I'm always kind of like to run towards the adversity. Kind of always try to every day, even when there's not a pandemic, there's still patients that need you. There's always still that challenge, to help people get better, help better improve and get back on their feet, more so, improve the quality of their life while they still have it. So it's a different, obviously, it's still competition, obviously maybe fighting diseases, viruses, and what have you, but it's a different arena, but it's still, still competitive. So it's just a different opponent.
Sure. Good stuff, man. It's, I think, I always think that you can't really explain how, your previous experience helps you out. It just, you just keep stacking up experiences and skills you know, um, and then when somebody asks you like, hey, how's that helped you now? It's like, it just does.
Right.
So totally understand there. Um, so our last, I guess you want to call it our last serious question before we get into the round of five here. Um, your time in athletics, high school, recreation, and ultimately at Cumberland. What type of impact has that had on you as a person, not only in your profession but just in everyday life? How has that being a part of athletics kind of helped you in that had that impact with you?
Just working with people from different backgrounds, working with, playing baseball on teams in Millville, and then, them playing baseball, violent, two different, two different type of cultures, share the same border, but, two different types of folks. So it's kind of always, any place that I work to, it's always, the culture is different, the people are different backgrounds, different religious makeup. And, just kind of working with people, from athletics. I always preach, always getting into athletics. Because like I said, just you got to work, you got to learn in life. I don't care whatever job, whatever profession is, you're going to work with different people that that may not look like you, talk like you. So it's just kind of always prepares you, because there's always everybody's working on a team. We're working towards one common goal. So it's obviously self improvement, but at the end of the day, it's a collective effort of people pushing towards one goal. So it's that's where I think the biggest factor where it's impacted me in my life and to where my currently at where I'm at now.
You kind of got into it there. So I live in Millville now. Geez, I don't know if you know where I'm at. It's like right by Bacon Elementary.
Bacon, you're about Bacon School.
Yeah,
that's where I first
here.
started off at. That's where I first
Yeah. So obviously, you know, I lived in Vineland. I went to school in Philly, and now I live in Millville. There's a distinct difference. Although Vineland and Millville are separated, you know, they are right next to each other. There's a distinct difference when you live in Millville and you live in Vineland. There's just, it's so, I can't really, again, it's one of those things you can't explain, but it's just a different vibe out here.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I can't really like explain it. Just it feels different. The people are different. You know, it's just a different vibe. And literally, you know, you cartwheel 6 times and you're in Vineland. So
you're violent, yeah.
Yeah, so it's weird, but yeah, you know, living here and seeing how this culture is in this town is it's pretty different. So I can see where you say like, you know, playing in Millville now playing in Vineland, there's difference. 2 years ago, I wouldn't know what the heck you're talking about. Now
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I'm
They're different folks out here. All right, so next is the round of 5. So what we're gonna do, Cheese, is we're gonna read, you know, 5 questions. I'll throw them out, and then all 3 of us are pretty much gonna answer it.
Okay.
All right. So the first question is funniest teammate you have ever had. I got an idea, but you know,
funniest teammate. It's weird because I like dry, like sarcastic humor. The funniest teammate. That's a tough one. There's a guy in the Army, the funniest guy I ever met from Hawaii. But funniest teammate, I would have to say maybe Christian Parker. I think maybe Christian Parker.
Oh yeah,
he was a pretty funny dude at Cumberland County College when I my time there. I have to say Christian, probably him. But I don't know. I like all different types of. Everybody was a little bit different, but I remember him with the most currently. So I would say most.
Right. Chris, who you got?
So mine would probably your hermit brother Christian Adorno.
Really?
He's probably my funniest teammate because he's always been the top 3 funniest in every team I've been on. So as a collective, he would probably be the funniest as a whole. Because I was with him, you know, South Island, and then all rec league, and then we played in college together too. So yeah, I would probably say him.
Jeez, you know Baby Kiko, right?
Mm-mm.
I thought you did.
Yeah, he's my age, a little bit younger.
I can't. I'll be honest with you, because in all my interactions with him has always been like at the field.
Oh,
so
really?
I didn't know he'd be a funny dude.
Oh man,
so,
you have no idea.
But I will say this though: every time you go say hi to the kid, he always like rubs his chest with a huge smile, and he just like, hey, like,
yeah,
does the same thing every time. So, I'm like,
how about
dude,
you?
what's on your hands every time? My funniest teammate. It's really hard, and I'll just blanket this. All the guys that were in my wedding were the funniest teammates I ever had. You know, at the college level, there are these 3 dudes. Surprise, surprise! They're all left-handed pitchers.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Quentin Farr, Randy Maurer, Doug DeSandro. Those dudes are absolutely hilarious, and you know, a couple of those guys are, you know, Randy was the first to get married, but a couple of those guys are set to get married this summer, so I'm pretty excited for them. But cool. Those guys are funny, and you flip it. And Chris Prescott, who was actually a Ranger as well. Jeez. Yeah. You guys were buddying up at the wedding, just talking about stories and all that stuff.
Yeah, we're Facebook friends now, so it's
are you? Okay, now it's official.
Pretty serious.
That kid's funny. You want to talk about dry, and I, you know, he talks in the same tone all the time. You know, hearing him in the dugout, he'd be yelling in the dugout, and it's the same tone as if you're having a normal conversation with him on the bus. And then you can get into the 3 here, man. Like Cheese is absolutely hilarious. I don't think there's ever a time where we're hanging out where we don't at least like look at something and laugh.
Right.
I've got a few stories with Cheese that are not for this podcast. So you know, we've had some good ones. And then my buddy Sean Olson, who's now the AD at Wildwood High School. I think he's the vice principal and athletic director at Wildwood High School. So he's He's a funny dude, man. So it's a I'll just blanket it. If you were in my wedding, you're the funniest teammate I've ever
Yeah.
had. So
Spoken like a true AD right there.
dude, it's I mean, like you said, geez, like they're different dudes and just funny stuff. So all right, next one. You're gonna have to take bite the bullet here. The best sports team you've ever seen that wasn't your favorite team.
But professionally, or
Any team.
I wasn't my favorite team. Oh, you gotta go the bull. You gotta go the Bulls. You gotta go with the Bulls, man. That beat my Jazz. Jordan
Oh
still
yeah, that's
pushed.
right. You're a jazz dude.
Jordan, Jordan still pushed off. Still, I mean, I think that game's still under appeal, if you ask me. But I think the history books are a little bit different if they ever call that. But that team, and obviously, more so currently, because I mean, I got to live through that and see that. So
Yeah.
back to back years, Dagger's still there. So it's but yeah, that was probably the greatest. I mean, from Coach Kerr. I mean, Ron Harper. I mean, this the the plethora of talent that they had on that team. I haven't seen a better football team than any of my the New England Patriots. So it's but other than that, I would say either that or the Yankees. That late '90s Yankees team was pretty. I mean, Bernie Williams and those guys. That was pretty deep. But yeah, I'd probably say the Bulls. Yeah, I would top the Bulls, the '96, '97 Bulls team.
That's a good answer. That's exact. I was gonna go Yankees too. I was going early 2000. Like, if you want to go more current Yankees, the Yankees team that beat our Phillies in '09, that was a pretty talented Yankees team. But yeah, if I had to narrow it down to one, I'll go those early '90s, or I'm sorry, late '90s, early 2000 Yankees teams.
Jeez, I'm coming at you, man. It's the Patriots. The only reason it's the Patriots is like I appreciate teams where guys just like, if you take them out of the group, like you put, Jamie Sharper on the Chargers, um, he's not like the best. Did I say Jamie Sharper? That's not what I meant. I was thinking Willie McGinnis, and I was looking at Jamie Sharper's face. You take Willie McGinnis off of the Patriots, and he's a good linebacker, but you put him on the Patriots, and all of a sudden the guy's flying sideline to sideline.
Right.
I just have appreciation for teams that can work really well as a collective, and I don't know if it's Darth Hoodie, if the hoodie does that to him, but something happens when they put that uniform on, and I think I think the one that gets me the most is that 2004 team that beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Um, you know, they had Corey Dillon, who was an NFL 2K beast, but I just didn't think. I was like, man, that's just and all of a sudden he's one of the top running backs in the league. And I thought the Birds were going to have it. You look at who the Patriots had that year. It's like, who are their wideouts? Who are cornerbacks? Like who? What? Was Troy Brown on that team? Was he playing both ways too?
Yeah,
I'm like,
that year Troy Brown.
Yeah. And I was like, they got a guy
Deion
playing.
Branch was on that team.
Yeah,
too.
I'm like, they got a guy playing wideout and defensive back. Like, how good could they possibly be? I'm like, there's no way. Like, but teams like that keep winning, and unfortunately, I have to say, because you're here, the Patriots, for me, are the best sports team that is not my favorite team. A couple softball ones coming up here. What is your favorite meal?
It's white pizza, no ricotta, sausage topping, extra garlic sauce on the side. Call it a
day. Not much to think about there.
Call it a day. Extra spearmint gum for afterwards, and a toothbrush and toothpaste. But
spearmint gum, you got to sit on the bench for the next week to get that out of the system.
It's well worth it.
For the next few days.
Is it Manco? Was it Manco and Manco now? Due to
due to some issues.
Yeah. Manco and Manco. That's the I'm telling you, get a white slice there with some sausage. Oh my Lord.
They're still open. Hey, if you're going down to AC, just make the trip down south a little bit.
It's like angels
Still
doing
open.
it's like angels doing backflips on your taste buds. I'm telling you, this is different. That stuff just hits different.
Oh, jeez. My favorite meal. So I don't know if anybody's listening, if you guys are familiar with the Northfield area, but there's a place called Cheeto Burrito. Um, it's on Tilton Road in Northfield, and they got just a tremendous grilled fish rice bowl. Um, I've tried to recreate it. It is possible. I'm just messing something up in the middle.
Right.
But if you're ever in the Northfield area, Cheeto Burrito, grilled fish rice bowl, traditional. And
I gotta write that down.
they're gonna ask you, do you want this made traditional? You just say yes.
Yeah.
Just say yes.
Just take it as is.
Yep. Just say yes.
Mine would probably be anything surf and turf, anything with a steak and any seafood with it is good with me. Little crab, little lobster, steak, whatever. That'd probably be my ideal meal.
This is why we brought Chris on to the team, because he just brings the class. Like, this guy's talking white pizza. I'm talking like taco balls.
Hey, I go last meal. I'm going last meal.
Yeah, he's bringing the class and professionalism.
Yeah.
So, next one I think is gonna be a tough one. I feel like no one's gonna get this. Favorite movie. I mean, everybody has a top 5, but if you had, watch one.
Yeah, that's just so hard. It's just too many.
Let's change it to top 3. Let's go 3.
Top 3. Black Hawk Down. Pulp Fiction.
Oh, this guy.
And
he's gone classics.
Green Mile. Green Mile.
That is a wide range. I'm appreciative of it. So
I don't know if I've ever.
I don't really have any. Oh, dude, you got to at least see Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, at least Pulp Fiction.
Okay,
yeah.
At least out of those 3. Black Hawk Down's a little rough. I'm telling you. I don't know how you like that, man. Like that, I think we all know what scene I'm about to, where they crashed. It was tough to see. So, my 3, number 1, and I'm going to do this as a blanket. Major League 1 and 2. That is that is a go-to. That's a go-to. I think I first saw that when I was in Little League, and I'm like, oh man, that's what the majors are like.
Right.
Like, that looks awesome. If you look at the majors now, it's completely different. You got dudes just working out all year round. You got guys like Roger Dorn and Tanaka out there flying around.
They don't look like us.
No, not at all. Movie 2, Inception. That's not even a question. If I was having a classy conversation, I'd say Inception number 1. But it's Dukes on the pod. So Major League takes top dog.
There it is.
3. 3. Slapshot. Just absolutely hilarious. Got dudes flying around a hockey rink. So Major League, Inception, Slapshot.
Gotcha. I've seen your 1 and 2. I've seen Major League 1 and 2. I haven't seen the other ones.
Dude, it's awesome. And I don't know if Keith Gorman's going to be listening to this. So it's weird. Before every playoff game, I think it was, before the first playoff game, we would either we would get into the lecture hall, and we would watch Major League, because I think the first time we watched it was in 2014, and we won the region. So it was like a year thing. The 1 year we didn't do it, we win the national championship.
Oh wow, that might be the new tradition not to not watch.
So I publicly blame Keith Gorman for us not winning for 6 years.
That was it. That was the missing. That was the missing piece.
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
I can give you number 1. I don't have to go 3. I've never played a down of football in my life, but Friday Night Lights is probably my. Well, no, it's not probably. It is. It's my favorite movie of all time. Yeah, definitely Friday Night
It's a
Lights.
good one.
I never watched the show. I didn't watch the show at all, but the movie was definitely my favorite movie of
Yeah.
all time.
All right.
All right,
All right.
last one, I think.
Last one. The best athlete you ever played with. I mean, this is just overall athlete. Doesn't have to be a teammate. Well, it
Die
has to be a teammate. But yeah.
line, die line, die line, die line. Um, Probably Tyreek McCall. He's a 3-star. He was like a 3-sport athlete. I think he ended up going. I think he went to Division One to play cornerback. I forget where. I think he might have went to Rutgers. Then he ended up transferring to Westchester. But he was a good baseball player. I played with him since I was 8 years old. He graduated a year before me, but good basketball guy. Then went winter track. Won some state awards there. Good football player. Put the clamps on Marquise Lee. That was way before your time. He went to Violent. He was, but yeah, he was probably the best like athlete that I've been around from from 3 to 5 sports. He was upper echelon for our group 4 in high school. So he's probably best total athlete that I've been around.
Chris, what do you got?
I would probably go one of my college teammates, Sam Goins. He played baseball, obviously, with us. He was an All-American with us. But before that, he had transferred from UD. He had played football there. When we played pickup basketball, he was always the best player. So probably just the best all-around athlete I had played with was Sam Goins, who I played with at Wilmington. So that would probably be my answer. How about you, though?
Good. I mean, I've played against a lot of really good ones. I'll just say this: I'll pump Cheese's tires a little bit. One of the best players I think both of us played against him that we've ever played against was Sean Doolittle. But Cheese, you want to go into Sean Doolittle real quick before I get into my athlete?
Doolittle is a star. I'm 3 for 5 against him. Doubles, 2 RBIs. I stole home against him in a regular season game on the road at Shawnee. Yeah, it's just very, it's great to, go against some guys that, they doing their thing, knowing that I'm probably one of the most feared, highest average against them in the career. So yeah, Sean Doolittle. I know he might not remember the name, but he remembers the face. So it's.
Hey, we're all shut down. Well, actually, Cheese, you're not shut down. I mean, if we can get Sean Doolittle on the pod, we can link this up and talk about it. How you stole home against them. So
he definitely got the last laugh on. He definitely got the last laugh on me, but it's after he hit a three-run walk off opposite field, and then he's pumping his chest, pointing at me in center field. Yeah.
No way. Did he really? You didn't tell me this.
That's awesome.
He got a little chippy in the post game handshakes, but
that's great.
Sean Doolittle, yeah, he is a stud. I mean, the guys. He's one of the top guys in his, coming out the pen in the league. So it's Doolittle's awesome. I mean, Doolittle's awesome.
I'll tell you what though, he's like super philanthropic now, man. He does a heck of a lot of stuff in and around the country. Like I think the one Thanksgiving he did like a Syrian refugee Thanksgiving, and he had everybody in his home.
Wow.
Like, he did stuff like that. Yeah, man, he does a lot. So definitely a 180 from the kids that played against him in high school to see what he's doing now. It's like, is this guy just doing this for show? Is he actually? And it looks like he's pretty genuine with it. But yeah,
right.
I remember playing against him. Cheese, obviously you do too, man. He was, I don't want to say he was, low class, but he was tough and he was very competitive. But my athlete, it's unpopular in the Maryland area. I played one summer with him. If you remember the name or if you look this up, his name's Billy Rowell.
Oh yeah,
went to Bishop Eustace. Yeah, I think he was the 9th overall pick in the
Orioles.
05 or 06 draft, and didn't really pan out. But you want to talk about having it all, man. He had power, he had the arm strength, he had the fielding ability. I won't he was a pretty good teammate to at least to me, but hearing some stories about some other guys, it was a little rough. But just overall as an athlete, man, he was the real deal, and it was a thrill, man. You play with a guy like him, and the scouts that are there, everybody that's there, and that was a fun summer. And like I said, I always thought he got a bad rap because he was really good with me. Hopefully he remembers me. He probably doesn't, but he was really good, and to me he's the best athlete. Now there's a few other athletes that I've coached that are really good, but in terms of playing with, he was I think one of the best. Now Sean Olson's gonna have a problem with that. Dewey Orieni, he's gonna have a problem with that. Like really good guys, but in terms of just overall, I mean, I didn't play with too many top 10 overall picks, so
right.
He's the best athlete. So, all right. So, I mean, that concludes the round of 5. I mean, Cheese, before we conclude, once again, thanks for coming on. Thanks for everything that you're doing. Before we kind of wrap it up, is there anything you'd like to shout out? Any messages you want to send out to anybody?
Yeah, I owe Coach Gorman an apology during his recruiting tenure for this player. You might have heard of him, Cody Stashak. I was just trying to convince him to go to Camden County College. I thought it would be a good fit for him. I think the best fit ended up happening, getting Coach Gorman in aligning with you guys, and I think that just elevated his career, obviously, to where the stage he's at now. And I think there's bright. I hope he stays on top of his games. Stay true to his workout regimen, and he can continue to flourish with the Minnesota Twins. But I think one coach is coaching the top program. I think the other guy's selling like energy down in Florida now. So it's the best. The best situation for him.
So, all right, G, you good? That's all you got.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. So I do apologize, you, Coach Gorman. Like I said, you guys, like I said, and everything that you guys done with that program. Now you guys made the top. Like I said, top program. And like I said, I'm continue to see, guys. Hope you guys continue to keep doing great things over there. Like I said, you guys, it's just as good, watching you guys play on that field that I built. So it's
he built it.
I helped build it. How many Saturdays I didn't give up fundraising? How many people I finagled to help? I was a top fundraiser back to back years, man. I just want my just dues. I should autograph my name on one of the bricks in the dugout, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for having me. I definitely appreciate you guys having me.
Geez, you can come in and autograph it. I'm just gonna watch it like a day later. So now, Cheese, we definitely gotta have you on. I don't know if it's for like a first pitch or whatever, man, but we definitely appreciate everything you did as a Duke. You're still a Duke. You're doing some great things, and obviously, we're very appreciative of it. We'd like to have you on again whenever you get a chance. Doing this for us is fun, and having folks on like you is even better. So, we definitely appreciate you, and to everybody that's listening, for them, again, once again, thank you. And, to all the Dukes fans and listeners out there, we're excited to keep this thing going, and, stay tuned for episode 5. All righty, everybody. Have a good one.
Have a good one.